Okay, y'all. All right. We now are working on everything. I'm gonna close this window so I can be seen maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that might be better. All right, folks. I feel like I kind of had to reapply my makeup and recenter myself to get into this. And so thank y'all so much for joining. We are going to be doing a recap of what we've seen for day two of the rehearsals. If you didn't know, we had Cyprus, Norway, Croatia, Belgium, Israel, Romania, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, and Malta. And I'm not going to lie, these are probably today's rehearsal definitely had most of the folks that I was most curious to see. I was curious about Russia yesterday because I thought that they might switch it up from the national selection. So I was interested in, and I'm not saying I'm not curious about anyone in semifinal two, but I think today had the most countries I was curious about that I wanted to see. Let's kick it off where we started today. We started today with Cyprus. It was great. I love the amazing outfit. We had diamonds dripping. It was like diamond fringe. It looked very slick. It looked very professional. Vocally, it was on point. It sounded great. I love the fact that they have the dancers sort of in red bodysuits. And so they don't really stand out that much. It's a very monochromatic staging setup, which ultimately I believe makes it look extremely professional, slick, and clean. This is just, it's just really, really well done. And let's move on. Norway, Tix mixed it up today. He gave us a whole glitter jumpsuit. And I already applauded the dudes earlier. I think the men have really showed out in semifinal one, and they're not giving us any boring staging. And I am so appreciative of that. We've been at home for almost over a year. And it's if I see a t-shirt and slacks, it's bruh, you could wear that on the couch. You are on the Eurovision stage and I want to see you do something. So, Tix is keeping the wings. He's keeping sort of that set piece. The vocal was flawless. I will say, I think I had one note about the chains. They were making too much noise. So we need to either replace those chains or really have a conversation with the sound guy to make sure everything is on point. They did have the pyro that they had at the national selection. Ultimate, and actually I would say the performance looked really beautiful. The LEDs looked pretty and whatnot. Norway really did keep the performance pretty close to what they did at the national final, which makes it difficult, I think, for some press folks to really comment on what the impact is because most of us have already seen the national selection performance. But ultimately, I do think Norway did upgrade, albeit staying true to what happened at MGP. Let's move on to Croatia. Croatia really was a pop on the stage. She's giving us a Britney moment. It's very Britney in the best way. We got this glitter bodysuit. She's interacting with the LEDs a la Clara Hammerstrom, a little bit of Monsemela, but little more like what Clara Hammerstrom did at Melody Festival and this year. And y'all know I love my girl Clara. It's really true to that kind of early aughts performance. And y'all know when I did my review of the song, I talked about how I'm when I hear the song, I just imagine it kind of as a girl group. And I mean that as a positive, but all the Croatian people wanted to be sensitive about it. And it was that's not a negative. I just feel the song, when I listen to it, I'm oh, imagine two other girls singing it, with her. Not a negative. But she actually did a moment where she's multiplied on stage, kind of giving us that TikTok effect and kind of giving us that girl group wink. And I love that. The vocal wasn't all there, but honestly, I'm not that worried about her vocal because she was doing a lot on stage and she was doing a lot and really, I think, hitting it enough. Overall, I was really interested in the performance. I think the camera angles were pretty good. I love the multiple augmented reality moments. I mean, they're just really using all of the tech. Now, when you have a lot of tech, that means you kind of have a lot of work on your hands to kind of smooth everything out. And so they're gonna smooth all of that out. It was just a first performance, but honestly, Albina looked like a pop star. It felt like a pop star performance, and I liked it. It was enjoyable. And I think there's going to be people who will vote for it. As much as I thought that this was borderline before, I'm feeling far more secure about its qualification. But we'll get to qualification later. Belgium, it was great. Heike looked great. She had a glitter black mini dress and it was backless with thigh-high boots. The way that they have incorporated the backing vocalist into the set, it's just adult. It's just clean. It's just quality. It is a very, very good, strong performance. And I do still believe that this will qualify. The way the camera sort of circles her, I've heard some people on Twitter, they're talking about like, oh, but they have like an LED of her face. So when Eurovision uploads those things, you're not actually seeing the camera angles. You're just seeing like the staging, like them just having like the static camera and it's just the stage. So you don't see how it's like really incorporated. And the way that it looks, it's sort of like you see Heike singing like in the foreground. You kind of see the backing vocalist and then you sort of see her eyes looming over the performance. And it really just adds to the moodiness of it. You know, now they could get rid of the LED. They might actually get rid of the LED. Who knows? Because honestly, I found it to be additive and I thought it looked really cool and it just added that extra oomph and punch behind the performance. But I thought it was great. It just looks so adult and clean and professional. And there's a place for it in the Eurovision Grand Final. Israel, the graphics that we see in the LEDs are very much so like the lyric video. Very much so like the lyric video. You know, I will be honest because I have to be fair. You know, Eden's vocal like on the verses was not the best. And I don't even think she was necessarily holding back, but I also don't think she was trying too hard. But it's hard to hear like, you know, it's sort of like, well, she wasn't really trying too hard on the verses, but then the whistle notes were just like so effortless. You know, it was like she was just doing that in her sleep. And I almost was kind of like, girl, I wasn't even expecting you to hit the whistle notes at the rehearsal. You could have kept that to yourself. I mean, that would have been fine. Israel does have too many wide shots, way too many wide shots. The energy of the performance reminded me of Laura Tesoro, What's the Pressure? And the negative of that is that was 2016. And I think the thing with Israel that might be a negative is the fact that they really aren't using much tech. This is a performance that could have been at Eurovision 2015. Actually, thinking about Golden Boy, the way that he was kind of dancing with the guys behind them, that's sort of what Eden is giving us. It's not the most ambitious staging, but it is probably the most ambitious vocal if we're looking at range, you know, range. I liked her styling at the beginning. I'm not a fan of the reveal look just because the reveal look was so muted. It is like this sort of thing that's like braids and it's like sort of like a crochet thing to cover all the right bits. And it doesn't pop enough. It's a cool outfit that might have looked good on like a runway to be photographed or like in an editorial. But I think in real life, unless it's going to light up or unless we can make it hot pink or green, she had like the green accents. I know she was doing that in the music video, right? In one of the music videos. Ooh, child. Yeah, one of them, Lord. Yeah, it just, you're revealing something and it should pop. You know, and it literally should like kind of pop on stage and it's not really doing that. The effect isn't there. And you need that with a reveal. With Romania, you know, the staging was great. It looked good. It was moody. It brought in, you know, to tell that story. It's really pulling on the music video really, really well. The issue with Romania is really just the vocal, especially because like with Israel, what they're doing. And, you know, some people are like, oh, well, she's doing a lot of choreography. She's not doing as much choreography as Elena. She's not doing as much choreography as Albina. She's not doing as much choreography as Eden. So we can't like, it just, this semi is just so competitive. It's going to come down to nitpicking. And the vocal has to be there for this. And also the vocal has to be there for this performance because it is so intimate to tell this story. You know, it really is a song that isolates the vocal. There isn't a whole lot going on, you know, sonically with the song other than kind of listening to Roxanne. And so that's the only thing that needs to be improved. But I love what she had on. Some people were mad at her outfit. What else is she supposed to be wearing? Because she shouldn't wear the dress at the end, you know, that we see at the music video, because that's sort of like a reveal. You know, this is like a cool girl, pop girl act. You know, Alesia Cara, Billie Eilish, like the girls aren't out there wearing bodysuits, sequin bodysuits anymore. That's not what the girls are doing. They're just not. You know, they're wearing their hoodies and their baggy jeans and stuff, and they're just doing it. So I think I think what she's wearing is fine. Really, just with Romania, the vocal was off, and there's really no excuse for it to be off. Because you could be preserving your voice and holding back, but you still need to be on the pitch and key. So, Azerbaijan, really simple staging. I love the styling. Everybody looks good. The dancers look good. Effendi looks good, and she sounded great. The vocal was perfect, but there were too many wide shots, and the stage is empty. It's empty. Israel and Azerbaijan are both not really utilizing the tech. They probably have pyro and things coming, but they're not utilizing the tech. And I wonder if that will hold them back. But Effendi sounded good. And I know she'll look good. I love the outfit. At the moment of the crescendo in the song, yeah, even the crescendo of the song, it doesn't punch as much as it needs to. And I know they're going to add fire and pyro, but I'm telling you, even looking at it and envisioning pyro popping up, it still was, because it was like all these wide sweeping shots. To create that tension, we need quick camera angles, and we need a lot of them. So at the end of the song, we really need that. Ukraine was great. I want to change a thing. Kat looked great. She looked like Trinity from The Matrix. She had this like green accent jacket on that I love. I think that pop of green was really nice on stage. They did do sort of that ritual on stage. I am so worried for how televoters and juries will respond to it, but y'all already know I wanted it in my final. And then we're closing it out with Malta. Destiny Chukwunyere brought us home. The vocal was effortless. It was flawless. I love the outfit she has on. She has this pink bodysuit. It's a very Lizzo, very in the moment, in the best way. And the way that it starts off, she really has a moment in silhouette, highlighting her figure, her shape, and you hear her voice emerge. It was a winning performance. But honestly, a lot of these were winning performances. So let me hop into the comments and see what y'all talking about. Someone said Destiny better change that outfit to dark blue. Why? Why? The pink pops. The pink pops, and it looks great offset against her skin color. She looks great. It's not a pink dress. The pink dress, it was good though. It's very Lizzo. Winception, I expected more staging from Malta. I talked about this earlier in my stream, and it's the comparison of like a designer bag to like a knockoff bag. The knockoff bag always has a whole bunch of stuff on it. The designer bag is a little bit more sleek. You know, think about that. Jake Sayers, do you think Cyprus could win the semi? I think it might have the best combined jury and televote score. I don't think Cyprus is winning the semi, but I think Cyprus is going to do very well, and they're definitely. Do you think Roxanne should have had the same hair as the music video? Well, technically her hair wasn't styled today, so I was fine with her hair. Cassio Caesar, can Cyprus not qualify? Can Cyprus win the whole thing? Cyprus is definitely qualifying, and I don't think Cyprus is winning the whole thing. Not the whole thing. I don't know. Daniel, Malta was kind of disappointing, not going to lie. Did you see the full run through? Elliot, I love that Ukraine has moved up to 5th in the semi odds. Well, look, I'm actually going to redo my who I think the qualifiers are based off of these rehearsals, because honestly, I don't even think they're going to change after this. Because I recognize that these are first rehearsals, so I'm really judging on if everything comes together, what I think will happen, and what I have faith in the teams to fix, if that makes any sense. So for some folks, I think I might have more faith than others to like fix it. So we'll see, and I'll make sure I get to that. Dore says, can you see a situation where both Israel and Azerbaijan miss out? I absolutely could. Bridget Baez, I feel like Destiny was bored on stage. She was not moving a lot. Did you see the full performance? Did you see the full 3 minutes? Or did you just see what they posted on the Eurovision channel? It was a rehearsal. She doesn't necessarily have to dance full out at the rehearsal. Lucia says, I really do think Croatia deserves to qualify. I think they actually might. Someone said, oh, France is overtaking Malta. Yes. Yeah, Fuego overtook Netta and she still won. Winception, Ukraine kind of looked like what if you hacked the Matrix with the power of nature. I love it. Mike Crystal, what do you think about Elena's choreo? It was great. They still had some of the stuff that she did in the music video. It was great. It looked good. And she's not doing too much, which I love too. According to the odds, Israel is now out and Croatia is in. I believe that. Duncan Lush, I'm waiting for San Marino. I'm sure they're going to win the semi. Actually, I've said that before that I think San Marino could win semifinal too. I've said that more than once. RM, I just feel based off of round one of rehearsals, we think it kind of mature. We think it kind of mature. We're going to end up like 10 countries deserve to qualify. Oh, this is too long. Sorry. Anxiety Smith, Alesia, do you think that Sweden's second position in the odds is justified? Are they second they're not second in the overall odds. You just have them as, they're just second in the odds for qualification, which I do think that Sweden being second in the odds for most likely to qualify makes a lot of sense. Ahmed, she should do the thigh high boot. Yeah, I like the thigh high boot, but I'm a sucker for a thigh high boot. And I think there's something classic about a knee high boot. It's very like mod. Juan Fran, Croatia edge, perhaps Azerbaijan and Israel. Yes. Laura, anyone who doesn't sing perfectly is out of the final. This is so stressful. I mean, that is really, and I feel like I've been telling people that all along, that it's like, this semi is so tough. It's going to be the small things that tank it, because it's so stacked. And arguably, I think that that's fair. If someone gets on stage and is singing bum notes and qualifies over someone who got on stage and had a flawless vocal and flawless run through and ambitious staging, that's not fair. It wouldn't be fair. But honestly, life is not fair. So here we are. Jippy E, who do you think from today is definitely out? Well, today was the heavy hitter day. Today was the heavy hitter day. And who I definitely think is out today, well, based off the rehearsals, Romania is out. Based off the rehearsal, because that was probably our weakest rehearsal. But they have room to improve. Flo says, not gonna lie, I'm from Belgium and I'm scared for my country. I just wouldn't be. I'm just not scared. What else? Ooh, the comments are coming so fast. Clyde, who impressed you the most today and who disappointed you the most? Destiny probably impressed me the most because it was just so effortless. Croatia is my biggest surprise. Croatia is my biggest surprise because they just really changed up the staging completely. So I wasn't expecting that at all. They're giving us like a full-on Britney Spears moment with the bodysuit, everything. She looks great. Junza Shen says, will Lithuania be forgotten? No. The disappoint, you keep saying, did you see the rehearsals? Yes, and Malta was disappointing. To me, Malta was not. Well, so here's the thing. Israel 2019 was disappointing to press. It still won. So I do think there's a level of like balance. And you have to think, what are the things that disappointed people? People expected Malta to what? Do more, throw more bells and whistles at it. So are we disappointed because we think that the staging isn't good? Or are we disappointed because we expected them to do more with that? I think there's a difference. Like Azerbaijan, I was expecting them to do more with it, but ultimately I was disappointed because what they did though was a ton of wide shots that I was kind of like, why? The arena's not going to be that full, Did I expect Malta to do more than what they were doing? To be honest, I never really envisioned what the staging would be for Malta. I didn't, Australia, I had a vision in my mind. I think Belgium, I had a vision in my mind. Norway, I had an alternate vision in my mind that I thought they would go with, and they didn't. ESC Aussie, I practically accepted my country, Australia, isn't qualifying. I don't feel like Australia is qualifying right now, but the issue is we don't have anything to go off of. But given what Cyprus is doing, Croatia is doing, and these countries that really are direct competition for Australia, I'd say Australia is probably out in comparison. Maria, Alesia, could Destiny meet Dami Eames' Destiny and be blanked by the public vote? Anything is possible. But I do think that Jimacas is more immediate than Sound of Silence. Oh, and it beats to the sound of silence. And it be okay. Sorry. Yes, love that song. Everyone's like, but Israel 2018 is not Malta 2021. It's not. But I would say the phenomena of like this song that just seems like the runaway favorite ahead of time, then dipping in the odds has happened before. Someone, okay. The comments are coming so fast. I'm so happy that y'all are watching. Thank you so much. The climax of Malta's song sounds flat. It wasn't flat. There was not a bum note in sight. There was not a bum note in sight. Can you name 3 definite not qualifiers? Oh yeah. Not from today, but of semifinal 1. North Macedonia, Slovenia, and wait, I'm on the first page. Slovenia, yeah, they're not qualifying. North Macedonia is not qualifying. And honestly, I mean, well, I don't even have anything to judge off of Australia, so I'll just say Australia. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. What? Okay, I feel like I had some questions. Okay, so Ivo Amendoka says, if you could change one staging of today, who would you choose? Yeah, who would you choose, and like how would I guess how would I change it? Well, probably Australia's. Because I wanted Australia to go full on like comic book, like, I got power, yeah, midnight is it? Like, I wanted like Pal, like her just being like this like Powerpuff Girl Sailor Moon thing. And although what they're gonna deliver, I think I'll like ultimately, I think that would have been better. I think that would have been like, okay, you might be qualifying. Someone asked, greetings from Russia. How do you like Manisha's song? I talked about that all yesterday. I got a whole video on it. Deep says, not gonna lie, Destiny's outfit looks so cheap. I disagree. I think it looks good. I mean, it's very Lizzo. Like, you know, Lizzo was like the girl in the band. It's very like Flag Girl, Majorette vibes. And maybe y'all don't have that reference. I don't know if y'all have like school bands like we do in the States, but that's like kind of like a Lizzo thing. It's very like Majorette with like the boots. Like that's really what it is. Someone said, which semifinal 1 song will you sing next at a karaoke party? Whose song would I sing? Oh, Cyprus. I would sing Cyprus. Tonight we're gonna burn in a party with Wire, Desire. The words are so crazy. All this spicy melts my icy edges, baby. It's true. Andy Taylor, Ukraine won the press poll, which is great. Someone says, sing Shum. I don't really know those words. Yeah, I don't really know. Simona Delilah, Azerbaijan can improve with the second rehearsal, I hope. Here's the thing though, but the thing is, Azerbaijan needs like a thing people can latch onto, like a memorable thing. And I don't think we really have that right now. And the thing can't be fire and pyro. You know what I mean? Like we need like a hook. You know, even with Destiny, it's like that pink outfit, it'll help her to be that hook. You know, El Diablo has, you know, the Diamante outfit and that shot where she's like holding it and then you see like El Diablo come in the back. You need to have like a moment that people can latch onto. You know, Croatia has that moment where Albina multiplies. You need a moment on the stage, and Azerbaijan doesn't really have that moment yet. Israel even kind of has the moment, which is the costume reveal. But unfortunately, I think that costume reveal is slightly underwhelming. We need to have the outfit that she's revealing under pop, whether it be lighting it up, making it glitter, making it neon, just something. Soy, Azerbaijan or Croatia? Croatia right now. That was the stronger rehearsal we had today. GPE, do you think if Ireland get the staging right, they would qualify? Absolutely. Dorkani, who do you think has realistically the most potential to improve by the semi? Ireland. GPE, I really hope Oh, I have so Quiet Stream Productions. I have a feeling the insane LED wall in Azerbaijan's performance is attempting to take eyes away from, oh Lord, Effendi's dancing. Well, she's not dancing that much, but she is dancing. Philip Toast, did Destiny have some pyro in her performance? I didn't see it, but I do think they're doing a curtain. I think it's going to be a light curtain. Rodrigo, don't you think Eurovision showing the rehearsals ruins a big part of the Eurovision experience? I would say yes, because I think the ones that are coming up on the official channel are just like in the arena. I don't even think that they should show those, honestly. Mike Crystal says, I'm not feeling Effendi's look. Boo Boo, you alone. She looked great. Nimrod asked Israel or Croatia? Croatia. Off of the staging and performances we saw today, Croatia. But then, you know, Eden is giving us that vocal moment at the end. But the whole package, Croatia. Dang. Vasils, guys, everything will change in the second rehearsals, but they won't. Not everything is going to change. You know, they're going to do slight things. You're not going to change the whole entire staging. They might change some outfits. They might drop a LED, but it's not about to be a whole new thing on the stage. Well, so Juan says, hi, I hope you're doing well. I am. Do you see France as an actual contender if they bring the national final staging? Here's the problem. France has already said that they're not bringing the national final staging, that they're changing it. And God only knows why. I think everyone was very clear that they shouldn't change anything. And so I don't know why they want to change a thing. And I'm just worried. I'm just worried because honestly, France has let us down with staging before. I don't really feel confident in their ability to stage, to be honest. They've not really done it well. The national selection performance of Voila was amazing. I just want them to do exactly that. Period. Raven said, I think they said they're keeping it simple. No, they said that they're changing it. They did say that they are changing it from the national selection. They're going to do some different things, and they shouldn't. Who are these people talking to? Like sometimes I'm just like, why? Everybody said just leave it the same. No one is asking for anything more. Who are these people saying that they want France to change the staging? Find them and take away their money and don't ask them any of their opinions anymore. Ugh. God, because if they stick an Eiffel Tower in that thing, holy Lord. All right, okay. So based off of these rehearsals, well, yeah, any more questions? Because if not, I'm going to get to, based off of the rehearsals, I'm going to try and look at this running order. And I'm going to try to choose between my firstborn. Y'all, I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready for this semi. I'm not ready. Nimrod, why don't you connect with Sweden's song? For me, they're in the top 5. I think I don't connect with Sweden's song personally because it feels generic to me. It doesn't feel like it was birthed out of like, oh, I had this experience and so I wanted to write this song about XYZ thing. And you know, this year at Eurovision, I think we actually have quite a few singer-songwriters, and I was probably going to write about this on my channel because I think we do have a lot of singer-songwriters where it's like, you know, we just have these really authentic starting points for the songs, you know, Bulgaria, France, Switzerland, Ireland, you know, just these really distinct, like, connect, even Norway, like, you know, where there's like some ethos and this does feel a little bit like out of the factory. But I think that the song is like, people are thinking I'm hating on Sweetie. I think the song is catchy. I think it's actually staged really well. They actually fixed a lot of the stuff that I didn't like at Melody Festival. And I think the staging has elevated it. And now it's just a matter of executing it on the stage. So, yeah. Luke Smith, do you think Malta coming after Ukraine will hurt it at all? No. They're two different things. They're two different things. Basilisk, Australia will win Barbara Dex. No, that Tix is gonna win Barbara Dex. Yeah, okay. Oh, so Ido, do you think Eden's voice was a bit off in order to protect her voice before the live show? I don't think that she was fully like supporting it with her breath and singing out. Like I don't think like on the verses, because this is the thing. She wasn't really singing. Well, she was singing, but she wasn't pushing on the verses, and that's totally fine. Like that's totally fine. But then she turned around and hit the whistle notes, which I think is like sort of a juxtaposition. If you're gonna protect your voice, just protect it. Don't even worry about hitting the notes. The whistle notes. Those are just additives by definition. They're ad libs. And I don't think and honestly, for like these rehearsals, I honestly don't even think ad libs are necessary. If it's an ad lib, I don't even think you should bother doing it at a rehearsal. Like, unless you really want to know, like, okay, me standing in this outfit, in this stage, hitting this note. But I wouldn't do it at every rehearsal. I would do it at maybe one, and then I'd let it go for the rest. Who is your favorite today? Well, Malta made me cry. So that's saying something. And Ukraine, I loved. I mean, Ukraine just delivered. Yeah, let me just oh, someone asked who I think is winning the semi. Malta could still. Yeah, I mean, televote will be different from the jury. Well, but you know what? Well, no. Televote could be different from the jury. We'll have a different televote and jury score. I think for both semis, we're going to have different. We might even have a different makeup of maybe not the top. I think the top threes will be different could be different for juries and televotes too. Like I don't even know if they'll agree on one spot in the finals or the semis. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to just go in now based off this is probably a good moment. So based off of the rehearsals today, this is who I think is going to qualify. So, well, not just today, the rehearsals yesterday and today. And I sort of remember what I had predicted ahead of time. So I'm going to like write this down. So this is really based off of the rehearsals. And ultimately, even if some of the performers improve, I do think I'm giving some grace. Like some people, I'm allowing them space to improve where I'm kind of like, well, if you get it together, you're going to qualify. So I'm not worried. So let me just start off. So this is really based on the rehearsals. This is who I think will qualify. We're just going to go kind of in order. And I might get to a point where I'm just like, oh, okay, I got to make hard decisions. So Lithuania, definitely. Slovenia is not qualifying. Russia, I'm going to say definitely, and maybe I'll put an asterisk by it, but I think Russia's definitely qualifying. Sweden is definitely qualifying. Sweden, because it's catchy. The staging is impactful. Toussaint is definitely a charismatic performer. That's why I wish he had sort of a song that was maybe more him. So I'm Xing out Australia for now. I'm Xing out North Macedonia. I'm plugging in Ireland because if they get it together, Ireland still has the most ambitious staging in the semi. The most. Yeah. Cyprus is definitely qualifying. I'm actually saying after the rehearsals, I was having Norway qualify. I don't have them qualifying anymore. I do actually think being between realm right now and kind of giving us the boy band moment and Albina, this pop girl moment that I think about like Britney or Christina or something like that. Really, really cool moment. And I just think what she's doing on stage is more captivating than what Tix is doing on stage because he really is staying true to the national selection staging. And even though I was kind of like, well, no, it's kitschy, so people will grasp onto it. Tick tock, watch the days go. It's just that hook, I think is going to mute it. And then, with the fire of El Diablo, I think some people were thinking that Tix would stand out being sandwiched between the two women. I think it actually mutes him. So I'm taking Norway out now. Croatia's qualifying. Belgium's qualifying. Okay, so right now I've got Lithuania, Russia, Sweden. I've got Ireland. I've got Cyprus. I've got Croatia. I've got Belgium. So I've got 3 spots left. So Belgium is in. I'm going to say Israel gets through. They're in trouble, but I'm going to say Israel gets through off of the whistle notes. Let's just put Israel there. I'll put an asterisk by it if I need to move it. Off of today's rehearsal, Romania is not qualifying. Off of today's rehearsal, Azerbaijan's not qualifying. But Ukraine is, and Malta is. So, based off the rehearsals, I'm saying Lithuania, Russia, Sweden, Ireland, Cyprus, Croatia, Belgium, Israel, Ukraine, and Malta are qualifying. Let me hop into these comments, see what y'all think about what I said. I'm doing, yeah. So Sergio, I don't think Israel is in. I mean, I put an asterisk by Israel. I don't think that, like, I think Israel's in trouble. But the vocal, the notes at the end of it are what resurrect it. If Israel doesn't get in, I'll say this, because I put an asterisk by Israel. If Israel doesn't get in, I'm going to say Norway's in. What else are y'all talking about? Luke Smith, I still think Azerbaijan is in. Not with what I saw today. Not with what I saw today. Ashton, I really want to add Australia to that list. It's so good. It is so good. But it's hard with Australia. I'm literally kind of discounting Australia because I haven't seen it. But even with what I've seen, do I think it'll stack up against Cyprus, Albania, and even Eden vocally, and even Destiny vocally? I don't feel confident in that. I don't feel confident in that. Winception says, I need both Ireland and Ukraine to qualify. You say you're unreasonably attached to these songs, and I believe that I am too. Raven, I would switch Romania with Israel because I think she'll fix the vocals. We'll see. I mean, actually, I agree with that. I think if Romania delivers the vocal, yeah, I'd be worried for Israel. But right now, I can't say that. Emmanuel, could Sweden be forgotten after the second half? That thought has crossed my mind because we do have such a heavy second half. But you never forget, can you hear a million voices? You never forget it. You never forget it. It's not, I don't think it's a forgettable song. And I don't even personally connect to the song, but I don't think it's forgettable. Joey Rebello, Ireland not qualifying would send me into a deep depression. Nimrod, Romania will take Belgium's spot in my humble opinion. Not with those vocals she was serving today. Zandy, do you think the jury will support Australia like they did in the past? I think them not being on the ground hurts them. Isaac, why is Malta going down in the odds? Can you please explain? I already talked about Malta. Fazil, Matahari is very cultural music. I mean, I love that ethnic element, but that's sort of why I think that that ethnic element, we're getting that with Israel. Like we might get it with Israel as opposed to Azerbaijan, where honestly, the staging is hurting Azerbaijan. It doesn't, they're not doing enough tech. Sammy, I think people are underestimating Belgium. They are, because I think people in the fandom forget that there are people who watch Eurovision who are over the age of 35. Yeah. Francisco, do you think Romania still has a chance? I'm not feeling confident enough right now. Oh, Becky, low-key, I wish they put Destiny in some of the outfits she had in the music video, but I'm still loving her look, honestly. You know, I'm not mad at them for switching up. They're definitely going for a Lizzo vibe. But I would have been fine with any of the outfits in the music video. I thought she looked good in all of those. Chris Wharton, could Belgium be a dark horse for in the final for a top 10? I think so. People forget about calm after the storm. They forget about Anouk with birds. They forget about those. Well, that's my recap of day 2. And I mean, I ended this basically telling y'all what I thought. My prediction now, my tweaked prediction, just based off of what we saw today. And it could shift. The only shift I could see is really my fence. My fence right now is Israel, Norway, and Romania, honestly. And just to put a pin in it, based off the rehearsals, to me, who's qualifying is Lithuania, Russia, Sweden, Ireland, Cyprus, Croatia, Belgium, Ukraine, and Malta. And my fence is Israel, Norway, or Romania. Because the thing about Romania is the staging's really beautiful, and Romania also has a lot of neighbors that could vote for it as well. So the jury score could be really, really good. But if that vocal is not together, if that vocal is anything like it was today, because Norway's really waiting in the wings to just come out and kind of swoop in. So that's what I think. I will be back tomorrow, bright and early on my time, regular for y'all to get into semifinal 2. I'm really excited. I'm actually, based off of today, I'm really curious about tomorrow, just because I think we have kind of like a potpourri in semifinal 2 of stuff. It's a really kind of a back and forth, especially the first half. The first half of semifinal 2, I think I prefer to the second half. Well, the second half is just like the running order is sort of weird, but I've got some favorites that are going to be lined up tomorrow, so I'm excited to get into that. Thank y'all so much for watching. There's 463 people watching right now, and I'm only on YouTube. I love y'all so much. I really, really do. And if you're in the comments right now and you're not subscribed to my channel, this is the time to subscribe, because we're doing this. We got it tomorrow, and then we got Monday, we got Tuesday, and then we're gonna come back again with the big 5. And I want to talk to y'all. This is such a great conversation, and I appreciate y'all so much. I started my Eurovision channel so that I could connect and talk to people, and 6 years later, literally 6 years later, here we are. So thank y'all so much, and see you tomorrow. See you bright and early tomorrow.